G'day everybody. I want to talk about, can you buy spiritual points? Can spiritual be a game? Like a business, stuff like that, where you can just do this and work hard at this, no matter where your heart is, and you'll get an outcome, right? Like a game, right? You don't need your heart and all that kind of stuff in a game. You just try for an outcome, and you do stupid things in games because you know you need the outcome, right? But when it comes to real spiritual, can you buy or game or cheat these areas? No, you cannot. Why is that? Because God doesn't need you to buy, doesn't want you to push. God keeps going right back to the start and telling you to go back to the start, to the basics of what spirituality is and why He sent you here is to live, to be you, to be the individual, right? And as you learn, you get to a point where you choose yourself. You become you, right? And you're that most of your life. And once you become and choose that, you'll find when you're older, you'll still be wearing and talking and being like a certain era because you become you. It became you, right? But when you play a game and you do a competition, that it doesn't really tell you that it's you. It just shows you that you were good and you won between certain areas, a competition, right? A study. But it doesn't mean it's you. Doesn't mean you won something. Doesn't mean you should be it, right? Until you try some more and more and more and more things. It's like how some people say you should try more and more relationships. It all depends on what field you're in. Some fields, some advice works, and in some fields it doesn't. Sometimes it works a little bit in that field, sometimes it works more in others, right? But no advice works for everything. There's not one equation. If there was one equation, your males would just turn into that lady out of Indiana Jones. I want to know, right? If you get to that one equation. Imagine if you got to that one equation, that's what happened. Do you want to know that one equation? Sorry, babies. Right? As you're a long way away and you cheated. It's like a game, right? When you don't want to know this one equation. You don't know all the other things. You get one equation and you go, but we haven't lived yet. I haven't found out all these other... No! Game over. Well, you wanted to cheat. You went all the way with it too, right? And so you stop thinking about these things. You're not here to try to win a game by knowing the ultimate answer, which is why I thought a few scientists wasted their life worrying about other things when they should have tried to prolong their life so they can help on these other theories if they believe to, like Stephen Hawking. I have a few opinions about why he went a certain direction and why he should have went another direction and stuff like that. Right? Definitely, if you've got a smart brain and you've got the capabilities of choosing, you're better off choosing a certain area if you know it's going to help you all. Right? But he might even just chose fate. Right? I already thought about all this. Right? I wouldn't know unless you ever have a conversation, which I now can't, which is sad. That happens. Like I can never communicate with family that I never got to really meet. Right? And so when you live off fate, well, then it's up to God, and that's why miracles can happen. When you live off fate, you'll see a lot of miracles and stuff like that when it comes to that area. So can you buy points, and is it a game? No. What happens is you're meant to learn your life become you. Right? There's good and energy and points in the dark side, and there's good and energy points of the good side. And then I've talked about balance. Sometimes you got to be dark. If you have too much of too much, sadly, you got to start killing things. That's dark. Because if you don't, you're going to have other issues, which dark things will come anyway and become more worse and darker than you. So if there's going to be a dark issue, which is the best way to approach it, right? To get back to that balance. And you wait to a certain point as best you can, as the way you can. If you can send them off to someone else, that's extending the dark. Right? And also extending life if you can get an upgrade to another place. Right? But when it's not a game, it's not a race, you can't deliberately go, oh, if I do this for 2 months, right? This is what I don't agree in religion and certain other. If I just do this and punish myself and whip myself here, I'll get some points. Yeah, but no. You gotta want it. You gotta know before you have it why you have it. You might even get to a part where you might believe you don't need it. Depends on the way you think. If you can think better, more positive, and get a better positive outcome, perhaps God allows you to have that. But if you think the old way and think bad and you think you need to whip yourself, well, God will go, well, you do that until you think you don't need to. You know what I mean, people. Right? And so we have points, we talk about things and advice, but you have to get in there. You don't know about it. God does that. You can assume, go, well, I've done this and this. If I'm right, it could be this. Right? Like trying to assume about the weather, right? Predict. But it doesn't mean it's true. Right? It might help you. It's a guideline. Right? If you want to go back in history, that's what a memory is. Helps you go back to figure out where perhaps you are. And if you don't have a good memory, well, that's no good. That's a bad computer, isn't it? It needs to be fixed. Maybe your temple's broken. Can your temple be fixed? Because if you can't get the basic priorities, then you're never going to get anywhere. You'll actually be starved. But anyway, I thought I'd chuck that out before I end up getting questions about the point factor, right, and how it's going to get represented. So you let me know, could cheating help? And when cheating does help, it does help sometimes. Sometimes cheaters get through tests and that. But what happens when they get the job and they can't actually do it? Now, they've looked good right up to that point, don't they? Are they going to, when they cheat, did they quickly cheat for a good? Which is, what is that? It's like a righteous lie, right? It means you cheat a little bit now, but you know, time you get the job and you get there, that's 6 months, you have a time limit, that you're going to work hard on that. Because if you don't, that's when you're really going to fail and become known as a cheater. But if you quickly learn now and learn this last little bit, perhaps that you cheated on, you didn't cheat too much, right? Then it might be right, and then it turns out to be okay, doesn't it? And God extends the time for you. But if you don't do that, if you do the cheat and you don't expect nothing, you go, well, I'll just leave it God. And then you end up getting to work, and then they find out someone catches you and go, you don't even know what you're doing. I'm not doing all your work for you, huh? Because you didn't want to learn. Then you get your karma, don't you? You get your cheat outcome of what happens when you cheat with no reason to cheat. Because the cheating will catch up. And if you don't work in that catch up, when it goes to catch up, you don't work in that time about it, then you're going to get that. No. Anyway, I'll talk more about it one day. I thought I'd check that out. That might help the situation for myself about what I talk about and what I do. Because it's getting close to about to get an outcome to find out so I can move on truly in my life, as I've had other things around me come in and interfere, right, in my life. And when that happens, we end up getting issues where we have to stay at certain areas, go to court, and be locked up, right, because of issues in our life. And so that's another choice that we choose. If that stuff starts happening, you can always keep on trucking with that, or you can move on to go somewhere where you won't get that issue so much. So if you have issues with people, you're better off not being around so many people. That'll help you have less issues, won't it? And you can do that in all sorts of sectors. But have a good one. See you later.